முள்ளிவாய்க்கால் தரணி எங்கும் கிளை பரப்பி தாய் நிலத்தில் வேர்கொண்ட தமிழினத்தின் அடையாளமாய் கண்டங்கள் பலவிருந்தும் ஈழ வரைபடத்தின் மேல் முகப்பில் கட்டாம் தரையும் மணல் மேடுகளும் அங்கொன்றும் இங்கொன்றுமாய் பச்சை காடுகளும் கொண்ட இந்த பிரதேசத்திற்கு மட்டும் அப்படி என்ன கவிச்சிறப்பு? உள்ளெழுந்த கேள்விக்கு பதில் தேடி திகைத்துப் போனேன். அது வெறும் ஊரல்ல, நிலங்களை பகுத்தாய்ந்து இலக்கியத்தில் புவியியல் சொன்ன தமிழில் இன்றும் இனியும் இப்பெயரை பாடாமல் எந்த இலக்கியமும் முழுமை பெற முடியாது. நிலம் தொலைத்து புலம் பெயர்ந்தகம் தலைமுறைகளின் தனித்துவமான அடையாளம் அது. மானுடத்தின் கோர முகத்தை, மானுடத்தின் தீரா சோகத்தினை வெளிப்படுத்தும் நினைவு சின்னம் அது. 2009 மே மாதத்தின் இதே நாட்களில் தமிழர் குருதியினால் குளித்து அந்த மண் தன்னைத்தானே உரமேற்றிக் கொண்டது. முள்ளிவாய்க்காலில் தர்மம் அன்று தலை காத்திருக்கவில்லை, தலை
I'd like to start by acknowledging and paying respects to the elders of this place, the Yagara and Turrbal peoples, recognising that their sovereignty was never ceded and that there are many past wrongs and continuing injustices that are yet to be rectified. We particularly want to acknowledge the connections between the invasion and colonisation of this continent and the experiences of people in Palestine and indeed the experiences of people in South Asia, including Tamil Elam. So today we're going to kick this discussion off with a commemorative ritual where we acknowledge and pay respect.
The war was conducted in a 2-kilometer coastal strip, the place called Mullivaikkal. And at the last stage of the war, because the food supply was also run down, they cooked whatever means available in the coastal vegetation, as well as the last stage of the rice which they had. So through his experience, how the people have suffered. So with that note, I will stop and we will proceed further.
Thank you.
In support of that, where in Gaza the INGOs, the NGOs are there, but as a symbol, we are going to serve this one, and we do this one in all the events during Mullivaikkal time.
So we'll just have a moment's silence while we light that lamp. Thanks everyone.
I stand before you as a proud Tamilan, deeply connected to my history and my people. On May 18, 2009, a date carved in the collective memory of Tamils worldwide, Sri Lanka's 26-year civil war reached a catastrophic climax in the village of Mullivaikkal, placed in the northern region of the island. In those final harrowing months of conflict, Mullivaikkal became a symbol of unimaginable suffering and loss. Tens of thousands of Tamil civilians, the majority of whom were children and women, bore the brunt of a merciless onslaught orchestrated by the Sri Lankan military.
For affording me this platform to speak on this Remembrance Day. Together, let us honor the memory of the lives lost and restore our resolve to advocate peace, justice, and empowerment for all. Thank you.
Colonialism. Tamils have occupied the north of Sri Lanka for thousands of years. Sinhalese have occupied the southern side of the island for thousands of years. If you go back thousands and thousands of years, both populations originally came from
Arguably a subtle difference between what's happening in Israel and Palestine. But it is a similar pattern of settler colonialism, and what we still see today is that the Sinhala-dominated Sri Lankan government continues to displace Tamils in the north, establishment in settlements, relocating people from southern Sri Lanka into what Tamils describe as Tamil Elam in the north. In some cases, there are reports of Tamil temples being demolished and replaced with Buddhist temples. So this settler colonial project has some clear resonance. By association. And we see very similar rhetoric around Israel and Hamas, where Israel is saying, well, all these Palestinians are supporting Hamas, so they're all guilty, and this kind of rhetoric of anything is justified in the fight against terrorism is very strong in both of these. Did you want to jump in here, Mohammed?
I did. Where they were deemed violating international law. They didn't criticize Israel or Israelis or Jewish people. They single out the offenders. But when we talk about Palestinians, how they're being thrown under a blanket, generalization that they're all bad, they're all terrorists, that's not the case.
And in the final months of the war, this pattern of moving civilians from one safe zone to another until they were crowded onto the beaches of Mullivaikkal, the best estimates were that there were approximately 330,000 Tamil civilians on a narrow strip of beach about 3 kilometres wide. And as we've heard different numbers today, the most conservative estimates put the death toll at 40 to 50,000. Some people say it could be as many as 150,000. But that tactic the Israelis were using the Sri Lankan government to see, okay, how does this war?
They are meant to break the people. They're politicians' game, because you have to work the system in order to get these outcomes. We cannot do it individually, so that we can have a voice, we can make a change and recognize Palestine and have accountability.
Close by, there is a family from Sri Lanka. I bring this up because they have some direct connection with Mullivaikkal. There was a family of 4 children, and the parents and these 4 children got caught up in this struggle in Mullivaikkal. And 2 of the children died. One was a baby, and the mother got bombed off. The father was taken away. So finally the aunt, the father's sister, came by boat, and she brought these 2 little children also, because she was going to take care of them. Now, it's about 12 years. So these children started school here, and now the last one is almost finished. This year she finishes high school. No study rights. You can't continue your study.
Can't go to university.
Can't go to university. Yeah. You can't go for even TAFE college.
And thank you so much for organizing all of this. I am Tamil. My family is from northern Sri Lanka. We were displaced. I grew up in Canada. You might be able to tell this from my accent. This was over 10 years ago now, right, when I was there. Their voices still ring in my ear, because what they asked is to remember them. So I think that's what I would take away from this too, is how do we practice remembering? And what is our responsibility in that process of remembering? Thank you.
Thank you so much for that.
முள்ளிவாய்க்கால் வீழ்ச்சியின் எழுச்சி, நந்தி கடலோரத்து கலங்கரை விளக்கம், உலகம் பரவிய தமிழர்களின் வேர் புதைந்த தேசம் அது. இனி அதுவே ஒளியூட்டும், அதுவே வழிகாட்டும்.